Happy New Year, everybody.
Everybody.
We'd like to tell you what the Gregg Smith Singers are going to be doing in the next 2-3 months.
You know, we're not going to have the kind of format that we've had over the last 40 years, but we are going to have kind of a special season because it happens to be the 150th birthday of St. Peter's this next year.
And you know we've been performing at St. Peter's for over 25 years with the singers, and even before that, Gregg and I were married there in 1970. I'll never forget that John Gensel, their jazz minister, came up to Gregg shortly after we were married and said, "Mr. Smith," and Gregg said, "Oh, call me Gregg." And John said, "Well, call me John. Have you ever written any jazz?" And Gregg said, "Well, yes, at Ithaca. I wrote the college choir up there, a jazz sanctus." And John looked Gregg in the eye and said, "Well, finish the Mass." So, 1972,
I finished the Mass, and it became kind of an extensive Mass. I mean, it had all the parts to it, and it was one that turned out to be very successful. We took it to Europe, as a matter of fact, and
so when are you going to do it this year?
We're going to perform it. What is the date?
we're doing it on Transfiguration Sunday, Sunday morning with the St. Peter's Choir and a jazz group of 4 instrumentalists and 4 soloists.
And that date is?
And that date is February 10.
And what's happening the following week?
Then on the following Saturday night, Eileen Clark, who is an incredible soprano and has been a member of the Gregg Smith Singers for years, she's doing some very special solo music of Gregg's. She wants to introduce Gregg Smith to a younger generation, and so from the Jack Quartet, Avi Streisfeld, oh dear, I never get his name quite right. Streisfeld, who's a wonderful violinist, is doing with Eileen Gregg's double sonata. And Thomas Schmidt, who is the cantor at St. Peter's and a wonderful pianist, is performing with them. And he and Eileen are doing Peter Quince at the clavier, which Gregg wrote probably
many years ago.
Yeah, many years ago. It's just a wonderful, wonderful piece.
It's Wallace Stevens, incidentally, who
Excellent.
wrote the text.
And what's happening with the Gregg Smith Singers?
On March 2nd, we're doing a concert at St. Peter's. That's a Saturday night. So it will seem like our old New York series. And we're doing 4 premieres. Then the second half is all music that Gregg wrote for St. Peter's, including a John Updike setting, 7 stanzas at Easter, a Missa Brevis for St. Peter's, and what's the other piece? A piece that Watson Bosler was presented on the 25th anniversary of the Bosler Memorial Vespers, and it's called Songs for a Liberal Heart. The senior pastor, Amanda Sturr, put together texts that came from the Vespers and Watson's particularly famous or favorite phrase, and Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. So
Wonderful.
That phrase reoccurs. It's going to be a fun concert.
And then, what else are the singers doing after that?
Then we're doing, after that, a composer's readings workshop, and it must be about our 24th or 25th year of that. We always get some wonderful pieces. So check our website for more details about that. It begins on the Monday, which would be the 4th of March, and goes through that next week.
Great. All right. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to all of you, our friends.